Okay, so what is this game? Take Lost Ark, take Diablo or PoE, smash them together, and this is approximately what you're getting. I hear a lot of people saying that the game resembles Lost Ark a lot. I personally disagree with that. A lot of the things that are copied from Lost Ark or heavily inspired by Lost Ark are simply just cosmetic visual things such as the button layout, this huge V button on the left side, which represents like an ultimate ability. These EXP bars that look almost exactly like the same thing from Lost Ark. But gameplay wise and in terms of mechanics, the game is not very similar to Lost Ark. And I bet it's inspired a lot more by Diablo or PoE style games. That's the feeling that I'm getting from the game. The main difference between this game and Lost Ark is that Lost Ark is specifically focused on skill rotations, right? Like ability rotations. And the auto attack in Lost Ark, it's literally like almost a non-combat tool. Nobody uses auto attacks in Lost Ark to do damage, right? And that's the main difference between the combat system approach where games like PoE Diablo, they are a lot more spammy, right? They only have a couple of abilities and most of the time you're pressing like the same button and that's like your main damage ability or something like that, right? And so you're just going around, you're clicking like that. Lost Ark is a game where your normal attack, your auto attack is like just something that you have, but you almost never use it. You never use it for damage specifically. You pretty much only do damage with your abilities. And Lost Ark has 10 ability slots on average per class. It's 8 normal skills, and then you have your T skill, which is a newer addition into the game. And then also a lot of classes have either Z or X or both for their identity abilities. So on average, I would say around 10 active buttons that you're actively using in the fight, and that's not even counting the awakening or the ultimate skill. This game only has 5 ability slots, and the sixth one is the normal attack. This is a huge difference. When playing this game, I am constantly finding myself just auto attacking because the abilities are down. I don't have any cooldowns, and I just have to auto attack. Also, a lot of mechanics in the game are based off of the basic attack. For example, if I do my basic attacks here, you can see that I'm getting a buff that increases my attack and defense. So I am supposed to constantly left click. Another thing is after using this ability right here, I'm going to get a buff that makes me, whenever I auto attack, there's a chance that I'm going to get one of these purple little bubbles that are my class resource, right? So there's a lot of stuff related to auto attacking in this game, and that's why it's a lot more similar to PoE or Diablo, where the game is kind of more spammy. The combat is less piano style, right? You don't have to press as many buttons, but you're just like spamming the same button a lot. I pretty much finished the game. As for my progression, I am 2700 combat score. I have most of the red gear. There is 2 tiers of red gear. One of them is this one, the Valiant Commander set, and the other one is this one, Warlord set or something like that. The Valiant Commander set is just stronger. It has better stats, more defense, more attack, etc., better effects. So that's kind of the end game set for the demo. So basically, yeah, when you liberate all the regions, you will be approximately level 20. The end game for the game is you're supposed to go and kill these bosses that have 2 little diamonds on top of their heads, right? You see how this one has just 1 diamond? It's a lower tier boss, right? But there are a couple of these that have 2 little diamonds, and it means that the boss is higher level and higher tier. So there is this one right here, this one right there, and there is also this one right here, and this one right here. And there is 2 defense missions. These ones are basically you go in, when the mission starts, it's going to spawn a tree in the middle of the area. You're going to have to defend that tree from waves of mobs, and the waves of mobs are going to be alternating with little bosses. These bosses are faster to kill, they have less HP, they're easier to kill than these bosses, but here you also have the regular mob waves, and these ones are just the boss fight itself. The boss fights are not hard at all. They're pretty chill. However, they do have a lot of HP and they do take a pretty long time to kill, even when there's a lot of people around. But that's your end game. There's also a dungeon in the game. This is the only dungeon available right now. It has easy, normal, and hard difficulty modes. They are CP restricted, combat power restricted. For example, for this one, you would need approximately 1100, for this one approximately 1900, and for this one approximately 28. I know that this recommended CP value is a little higher than what is actually needed to enter. I believe when your CP is lower than what is needed to enter, it specifically tells you that somewhere here, and I believe that for hard mode at least, the actual threshold that allows you to enter is 2700, not 28. 28 is just recommended. The dungeon itself is pretty easy as well. It's pretty straightforward. It's not just a boss fight. It is like a little dungeon experience. You go through the entire area, and there's a bunch of like corridors and rooms and spaces with different tasks that you have to do. You have to kill mobs, you have to interact with structures, you have to use elevators, you have to inspect certain like structures, you have to open doors, you have to break stuff on your way. And then there's a couple of bosses and the final boss at the end. The bosses do have mechanics. For example, the final boss has a mechanic where sometimes a desert storm sweeps across the arena and there's like safe spaces on the sides where it doesn't reach, and the entire arena is filled with the spiky little traps that activate when you come on top of them. There's also another mechanic where the boss summons a bunch of ads and you have to kill the ads, but the ads take 1 damage per hit, like 1 unit of damage per hit, so you either need to multi-hit them or you get like beams aggroed on each player from the boss, and if you direct those beams at the ads, the beams are gonna just one-shot them. Obviously, I wouldn't expect anything super difficult from a demo, because obviously the point of the demo is for people to actually play and playtest and try everything. The dungeon is easy at the moment as it is, but I don't think it reflects on the actual like planned difficulty for the game in the future, or at the very least, that's what I think. There is the upgrade system in the game. In order to access it, you have to come by this NPC, which is called the Forge, in your settlement, and click this button. This is the UI. Admittedly, a lot of the UI elements, as they are right now, clearly they're still in development. A lot of these look like placeholders. They're not very impressive, right? Obviously, I would expect them to improve. But the idea behind the upgrade system is that you put in a piece of gear, you need these materials, and as soon as you get these materials, at least at these lower levels of upgrade, which the maximum is currently level 4, but at least at these levels of upgrade, the chance of success is 100%. You cannot fail, you cannot break the item, you cannot downgrade the item. You will 100% succeed once you get these items. You get these items from fighting endgame content, doing boss fights, doing the dungeon, doing the tree defense. Now, the housing system itself is very primitive, as I would say. It doesn't feel like you're actually managing your own little like settlement or base or whatever. It's just a thing that you have. You can access it by clicking H, and you see how all these structures are like level 5, level 4, level 5, etc. So basically, as you're playing the game, your house level is going to be going up. I'm not sure exactly what you're getting the house EXP for, but you're getting it somewhere along the way, either quests or killing bosses, monsters, I don't know, somewhere. As your house level is getting higher and higher, you interact with a statue, you upgrade your house level, and then you can click H, you upgrade your headquarters, and when you upgrade your headquarters to a certain level, let's say level 2, right, you're going to be able to upgrade the structures to level 2. And when you upgrade the headquarters to level 3, you're going to be able to upgrade the structures to level 3. And that way you can do it all the way to level 5 at the moment in the demo. Some of the structures have a lower max level inherently, like for example, the Forge, its maximum level is level 4. The Stable maximum level is 1. The Workshop is level 4, same as forgery. This whole mechanic does not feel like something important. It does not feel like something immersive. It's super easy to do, it's super easy to interact with, it's super quick. You don't have to think about what you're doing at all. It's very intuitive and it does not take up a lot of gameplay time. So I bet this is not the focus of the game. So you know how in other games like other MMOs, maybe Lost Ark, as you're progressing through the game, the vendors are going to have different goods available for you. Like for example, the potion vendor, you can only buy certain potions at level 30, and then the next grade of potions unlocks at level 40, etc. And the like upgrade NPCs, they can only upgrade their gear up to a certain level when you are not max level yet. So this is kind of like the same thing, but instead of all of that being available automatically and happening automatically, right? Like you come up to a vendor in a city and they have potions, they have all kinds of potions, but you can only buy the ones that are below level 40, right? Well, in this game, you have to go into this menu, upgrade your base, and as you're upgrading, these different vendors and NPCs are going to be unlocking more and more stuff for you, which is again very similar, but it's just not happening automatically. You have to actually like click some buttons to achieve that. Jumping into conclusions, let me give you some TLDR pros and cons that I was able to outline for myself. Starting with the pros, number one is going to be that the game has exceptionally good optimization. The graphics might not be the best in the world, and yes, the game does look mobile-ish in many ways, but the picture quality is still very decent, and the ratio between performance and picture quality is amazing. The image is sharp and clear, most assets are visually attractive, and based on the average optimization that we're used to seeing in other modern games, Embers definitely does pleasantly surprise with how many frames it's able to push and how smooth it is. Everything you're looking at in this video was played and recorded on the highest settings in 1440p with OBS recording on the same PC. Even when they improve effects and animations, add new assets, or make existing assets more detailed, the buffer for performance is very large, and the game is still going to be fine even if the frame rate drops by 10 to 15%. The game clearly focuses on combat heavily. Despite systems like housing existing in the game, 99% of your playtime will be fighting something. The combat system foundation is solid, and it is already pretty engaging as it is, and will only improve towards launch. The feeling of loot is really well done. The effects and sounds of rare items dropping scratches that dopamine itch pretty well, and again, this will only improve towards launch. Character creator is very solid. It's not on the level of Black Desert Online, but it is much better than a lot of other popular MMOs. Not only it offers a large number of sliders and features, but the characters you're able to create actually do look and feel different from one another, unlike some other games such as Chrono Odyssey, where all characters looked either ugly or like a recolor of a staple Chrono Odyssey character. The goon is in the game, and it's not heavily censored at all. At the same time, the visual balance between goon and non-goon visual themes in the game seems to be very solid. The game does not look like a desperate gooner bait. As for the cons, the game does look mobile-ish in many ways, which makes me think that it was originally planned as a mobile or a cross-platform game, and later transitioned towards being PC-oriented. At this point, it's up to them to keep computerizing the game as much as possible, and the more they lean into this PC-oriented design, the better it's going to be. However, the fact itself that mobile design shows through does make me a little bit concerned. The controls are clunky. The game doesn't know what it wants to be in terms of controls, offering way too much freedom in the different input methods, control schemes, and camera design. This is very concerning because usually, in order for a game to have meaningful, challenging experiences, it must have a defined and specific framework of controls and ways that users are expected to interact with the game. I am afraid that if the game keeps being this way, it will end up being a very casual, surface-level experience, because making the game easier is usually the only solution to the aforementioned issues. Isometric camera view is an amazing game design approach which has proven to work exceptionally well. And the reason why it works so well is partially because isometry is restrictive in nature, and it creates that aforementioned specific framework that allows developers to make deep and interesting content for the game. Trying to add so many degrees of freedom into an isometric game kind of defies the purpose of going isometric in the first place. And the final con is going to be lack of content. I am fully acknowledging that this is just a demo, but given how small was the part of the game that we were allowed to see, it's just not enough content and experience to formulate a strongly defined opinion about the game. So it's less of a critique of the demo itself, it's more of a reminder that even after having played the demo, we still have no idea what's going to be the endgame on release, and given the fact that endgame is the most played and the most important part of any MMO, we practically know nothing about Embers of the Uncrowned as of today. Will it be dungeon focused? Will there be a DPS meter? How difficult is the game going to be compared to other MMOs? How important is PvP? Will the game offer the ground for the parsing culture to thrive? These and some other important questions we unfortunately still don't have clear answers for. Overall, I am still excited to see the future of this game. I enjoyed the demo, and honestly, the only thing I want now is more content. But that will have to wait until the next batch of news, where they tell us what's going to be the next step, if they're going to release soon, or schedule another playtest phase. I fully expect at least around half a year period before any further steps are made though. In the meantime, we have some other MMO and MMO light games coming out soon, specifically EoTU and HOK World, which I'll definitely play and cover on this channel. Drop a like and a sub, and comment down below what are your thoughts on the Embers demo, and what are your plans and expectations for the MMO genre in the near future.